Shooting in motion. At WVTA, our method is to always use a tripod. Never shoot with your camera off the tripod. Our goal is to make the viewer forget that they are watching a produced video and to create an experience. If the viewer notices that the camera is shaky, it takes them out of the experience. Also, there are parts of a wedding video that will need to be shot on a tripod no matter what. And if that stabilized footage is mixed with shaky footage, the viewer will notice, and again, it will take them out of the experience. Everything you shoot needs to be shot on a tripod. This way, clients simply have nothing to complain about. They can't argue that the video is shaky. Now, if you're a photographer, chances are that you have made a photo slideshow with your photos. When you apply motion to a photo in a slideshow, you slowly present a photo with the focal point on a certain subject in the photo, with the motion traveling from one point to another point in a certain direction. It's the same idea with your movements in your shots when you're shooting video. Camera movements should be smooth and steady. If, for example, you're panning the camera from side to side, the speed of how fast the camera is panning should remain steady for the duration of the movement. Whenever moving the camera as a part of your shot, be sure to keep moving the camera for longer than one whole second at the beginning and end to make room for transitions, like a dissolve when you're editing. Before you decide what shot you're going to use when you're shooting, consider what a guest would do when they walk into the room you're shooting. For example, when you're shooting the reception hall, when a guest walks in the door to the reception room, they will immediately take in a wide view of the room from side to side. This is exactly what we were trying to simulate in a wedding video. When the tripod is not locked down, and you need to get shots with motion, there are three types of directional camera movements. A pan is a shot that moves from either the left to the right, or the right to the left of your subject. A tilt moves from up above your subject and moves down to below your subject, or vice versa. A diagonal shot moves from one corner of your subject to the other. Diagonal shots usually are used more for getting a wide angle of buildings, for example. Keep in mind that as long as a shot has motion by itself, you can keep the shot locked down. Now, as a photographer, you're probably already pretty good at getting your shots in focus quickly, so you should be just fine with focusing when shooting video. You adjust the focus the same as you would a photo. This can be kind of challenging sometimes if your subjects are moving though. So just be mindful of your focus if your subjects are moving toward or away from the camera. For most of the wedding day, focusing shouldn't be too much of a hassle. DSLRs usually have a focus assist button where you can digitally zoom in to make sure your subject is sharply in focus, if you're unable to tell from your viewfinder. To add to our arsenal of camera movements, we have two additional shots that involve focus. You can use these two shots to create movement when the camera is locked down, or use the focus to reveal something. A focus shot is basically when a shot starts out of focus and then comes into focus, revealing whatever your subject is. With a rack focus, you can have one object in the foreground of your shot and one object in the background. You start with one object in focus and one out of focus. You then adjust the focus so that the object out of focus is in focus and the object that was in focus is then out of focus.